All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 14 of the Beaver Lodgecast, presented to you by Ferda Hockey Apparel. The Beaver Lodge Hockey League is a GM-connected league with 30 users that draft, develop, and play an 82-game season within NHL Legacy using the GM-connected game mode. The BLHL offers analysis on trades, signings, and events around the league. If you are interested in joining, the best way to reach us is on Instagram at lowercase, all letters, no spaces, Beaver Lodge Hockey League. Today we're gonna just have a nice, probably a shorter episode. We got Aube on. We don't have him on. He's just here because he's here all the time. Our co-host. I'm calling him a co-host.
Hey, I upgraded.
Yeah, you're upgraded. No pay though. Don't ask for any pay.
Yeah.
So today we're just gonna shoot the shit, talk about free agency, little happenings around the league, all that kind of stuff, and yeah. So should we just go down the list of things I wanted to talk about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we last left off. Was it like during re-sign? Is that what it was, or just before re-sign?
Yeah, I think it was. It was after the first re-sign. And then we haven't touched free agency at all yet.
Yeah. So re-sign is kind of like a minor event. Everything's just kind of being, fully established on the teams and getting all the players, together. But it's more of which players don't get re-signed that really matters, and then they go elsewhere in free agency. So free agency is a lot more fun. There are only a few players that are really notable. I guess we'll go over those ones.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of just pulling them up right now.
Nobody cares where Matt Reed went.
Well, I do. I like to know where everyone went.
Can say Furland went to Pittsburgh, but we'll stick to the high end guys, I think.
All right, let's start with the top down. I think the biggest one was Mark Vlasic signed a 6 point. Oh no, wait.
Yeah.
Mark Vlasic signed a $12 million or $24 million deal with Montreal for 2 seasons. That immediately bolsters their defensive end. Top. He's got to be playing on your first pair, I would assume, right?
Yeah, right now, but honestly, I don't find him that much better than the rest of my top 4.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, I don't know, he just feels solid. Nothing super special, but I'm definitely glad I got him.
Yeah.
And I offered 12.005 just in case somebody else offered 12.
Yeah, it's always smart. Always smart to offer that 0.005. And then so on Instagram, there's a couple guys that came out and were like saying that they were saying that like these were the biggest overpayments they've ever seen.
Pretty sure that's one guy. Yeah.
I got a couple messages. No,
you
got to play it up, man. A bunch of people were online commenting at us.
You may as well get his username.
Yeah. No, I won't.
I'm joking.
You guys are gonna the fans are gonna just descend on him. No, but he was. Sorry, go for it.
It's just the idea in free agency, because I had Jamie Benn as an unrestricted free agent, but he didn't go to free agency. I had first dibs on him, even though he's a UFA. So it's kind of different from the NHL. So I was able to sign him at a reasonable contract, like I think it's 7.2 for 8 years, which is really, really good for a 92 overall. But with a free agent, the idea is that you can get them for a 2-year contract, and then you overpay them because a 2-year contract, everybody else can afford a ton. So the market kind of it bubbles
up.
It's
really just as simple as supply and demand.
It ends up at 12
supply and demand. The supply is so low and the demand is so high.
Yeah, it's like
the prices go way up.
7 players, something like that. And I have a ton of room, and I don't really care for Berglund. I want Vlasic. So I pick up Vlasic. I got him for $12 million, and then when that contract is over, I'll have first dibs on him again, and I can re-sign him at maybe like $6 million.
Exactly,
like that. Very reasonable. So that's the idea behind that, and that's kind of the idea that all the other guys had. with their signings.
It's
That's
honestly
why
kind of cool.
a lot of
Yeah,
overpayments.
it's
Not
kind of
just
cool though,
him.
because this is what happens. This is like this is a real market. Like it's a real market of players, virtual players in a league with 30 other general managers that are humans. So like this is the kind. It's kind of interesting. Is it realistic? No, it's not.
No,
But
not at
it's
all.
cool that you know it generates its own market. I think it's kind of fascinating. But anyways, we can move on to the next signing. Probably the second biggest signing was Ryan Murphy. Wow. Now, first it was you, now it's me.
Yeah.
Signed to the Calgary Flames for a $22 million 2-year contract. Again, that's a 2-year contract. We do that because it's a rule. Anybody over 84 has to be signed to a 2-year contract just so that you can kind of, it's a bigger commitment than a 1
It's
year.
a little harder to swallow, at least.
It's a little harder.
1 year, 1 year, you just max it out. Who cares, right? But yeah, 2 years, it is a commitment for sure.
Yeah, it is. So I'll be paying him $11 million bi-weekly and weekly, from September to April. And then, but yeah, he's been awesome actually. Like I've played a couple games with him so far, and I love him honestly. He's got a 90 speed. You can really tell. We were talking about it earlier today. He's pretty much got the stats of a winger. I might pull a Nata Bubkus here and put him on my wing like he did with Ryan Yossi.
How dare you? I have 2 defensemen in my top 6.
Do you?
Say Nata? Yeah, I have Riley and Murray.
Oh. You know what's funny though is Nata did that. Nata did that. Like he was talking about it like 3 or 4 months ago. And then they played Ryan Yossi on the wing. It was incredible. It started in this league. Like that's where everything began.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say Ryan Yossi.
Oh, Roman Yossi. Fuck. I was probably thinking Ryan Johansson or something like that.
Ryan Murphy, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's probably it's right in front of me. The photo.
Yeah, Ryan Murphy's really, really good. But you have so many righty D-men now, eh? Does that bother you, or do you is it not that big of a deal having?
Well, honestly, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, but I don't care personally. It's more he gets knocked off the puck sometimes.
Yeah, I piss around on the blue line way too much. Yeah, that's more my issue than my righties, honestly. So next signing. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No. Go ahead.
Next signing, we've got Riley Sheahan signed a 2-year, $20 million contract. Again, the overpayment on these guys with New York Rangers. Plumlee, he had $38 million in cap space to spend. So that's the kind of cap space. He had the most cap space out of anybody. But that's the kind of cap space you're competing with. And like max deals, he got offered off 2 max deals to 2 players and just like took them essentially. I believe a max deal is like 15.5 million or something right now. But
the cap went up so much.
The cap went up
5 million. In
the league is buzzing, man. We're doing great on revenues.
Yeah.
We had to spread the wealth. That's how that works. So, but yeah.
Honestly, he could have been paid more.
Yeah, I think so too.
10 million was it's still substantial, and a lot of people would be scared off of Sheahan because of his low speed.
Yeah.
But he's like a young asset, so again, he's picking up that asset, and then contract ends in 2 years, sign him decently cheap. So definitely one of the better pickups, better than the next 2 like Steen and Hoodler.
Yeah, I'm actually. So the next one is Alexander Steen, $7 million contract, or AAV, sorry. So $14 million. Jesus, I gotta get better at reading these. $14 million for 2 years. So these are all 2-year deals. $7 million a year. Honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of Steen when I had him in St. Louis. Good guy though, great guy.
It's kind of different with Steen because he's like you have him for the 2 years. But it's done after those 2 years. At least with Vlasic and Murphy and Sheahan, you're just kind of getting a player for free that you keep after those 2 years.
Yeah.
But Steen's done. He's gonna be 83, 84 after those 2 years. So it really is just paying $7 million for that guy. It's like a standard kind of free.
But then again, it's if that's $7 million he wasn't gonna spend, then you might as well take the for the 2 years. Steen's just loving it, probably. Man, the players must imagine how many. If this is actually how the NHL worked, imagine how many players would go to free agency,
Really.
and then increase the supply and then decrease the price. So maybe it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but
Yeah.
Matt,
Uh,
if Ben just went to free agency, he gets max contract automatically.
yeah.
Fucking
So Yuri Hudler, next one. $12 million contract signed with the San Jose Sharks, $6 million AAV, 2 years again. I'm kind of mad about this one because remember how I was telling everybody, I was telling you guys. Okay, actually, you know what? I'll explain it to everybody. So I come into one of the voice chats, and who is it but Aube, Twa, and who else was in there?
It was
Fabio, colluding over who they're gonna sign. And I was like, oh, well, this is fun. Like, I love collusion. Like, I'm in a position of leadership. I should love collusion. And so then they were like, who are you signing, Brad? Because I had the most cap space out of all of them. So I was like, oh, I don't know yet, and I didn't. And then we kind of went like through the list, and they're like, okay, well, if you're signing this, if you're signing like Vlasic, I'm signing Murphy, and Twa's gonna sign this guy, and they had like all these scenarios already done up, and I was like, oh, this is hilarious. And so then I was like,
I can't believe you're framing this as if it benefits us and not you.
Yeah.
But go on.
Well, I just it's fair, honestly. Like, it's fair.
You had more cap, so my mentality was, if you're going for Vlasic, that'll just push me off because you'll just put down more than I will. So
Yeah.
I'll go to Murphy, and that'll push Twa off of Murphy. So he signed Hudler instead.
Yeah.
Because you ended up just going to Murphy. So Twa said, okay, whatever, I'll go for Hudler.
Yeah, and then I was like, I'm a max deal him because but I was like, I don't want to pay him that much. So then I was like, I bet you Aube will just believe that I'm gonna max deal him. So I just I paid him 11 million. So it was pretty funny because once they seen it, they were laughing. I don't know, were you laughing? Oh yeah, you're just like,
no, didn't care.
Didn't care.
I mean, I was going with Vlasic either way.
Yeah, I know you were, but if I would have said I'm signing Murphy for 11 million, you might have been like, "Fuck, I might sign him for 11.005."
No, I don't think I'd bother with that.
Oh, okay.
Well, anyway, really wanted to psych you out.
Yeah. Anyways, I probably could have signed Hudler as well, like 6 million. I probably could have done that.
I don't know if you want to screw yourself like that. Your top six is good anyway.
Yeah. Well, I needed another right wing there, but.
Well, Hudler's definitely really good. He's got great speed.
Yeah. Sure. All right. Here's another one. We got this is a little more exciting. Mirko Mueller got an offer sheet. He signed an offer sheet from Florida for 3 years at $8.54 million, and I believe that 8.54 puts him right under the threshold for the third compensation bracket, right?
Yes. So if he offered like another, I think like 10,000, it would have been he would have given up an extra first round pick. But in this case, he only gave up a first, a second, and a third.
Yeah.
I say only very but still, it's a young guy that you're getting, and his draft picks aren't worth as much.
Yeah.
But
he generally does pretty well in the season. So Carolina receives a 2018 first, 2018 second, and 2018 third, all from Florida.
Yeah.
But yeah,
definitely not,
pretty good.
Definitely not an offer that Carolina could match.
No. Carolina's cap trouble. So, I mean, qualifying Mirko and getting the compensation was probably the best thing he could have done, honestly, in that situation. So
I agree.
Another offer sheet.
I do want to comment that 3 years is kind of strange to offer.
Yeah.
I don't know why he bothered with that. I think it was just what it was already at was 3 years. So
yeah.
He just didn't change it, but whatever. None of my business.
Yeah. Hey, maybe that guy turns into a stud and that third year 8.54 is looking like a bargain.
Oh, yeah.
You never know. The last offer sheet on the table. I think this is probably the last big free agent thing. Alexander Burmistrov signed an offer sheet for 1 year for a total of $4.22 million. Winnipeg, I believe it was from Winnipeg. Yeah, Winnipeg receives a 2018 Edmonton second. So
want to clarify also that anybody under the overall of 84, you can sign to a 1-year contract.
yeah, and
That's
well,
what I've been
to be
told.
honest with you, when I seen this, when I was making the graphic, I was like,
Excuse me.
"That's sly dog." I think Nata fucking
Yeah.
signed a guy for 1 year when he was supposed to sign him for 2, and I, yeah, I was just about to message him, and then I like went and looked at it, and he's an 83, not an 84. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. Yeah. Anyways, could have got him too, probably, but and that's pretty much no compensation at all. But yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, that's kind of the biggest, the big free agents. What else do we got here on the list?
I do think that's all of them.
Yeah.
Really sorry about the coughing. My God.
No worries. So I'm not free agency is done. We got a couple new GMs in the league that we'd like to say welcome to.
We already established that Fabio switched to Winnipeg, right?
Yes, we did. I announced it on the last podcast.
Mm.
Fabio's in Winnipeg. Who took over? Sam took over Columbus.
Yes.
I haven't played him yet. I haven't really. Have you played him? You can see how good he is?
No, neither have I. Let me check his schedule and who he played. I think he beat Rosario. So
Okay.
surely he's pretty decent.
Yeah, okay. And then who else did we get?
Excuse me.
Pedersen? Is that Sam?
That's the same guy, yeah.
Yeah, okay. There was another guy. Who's a new guy? That's it, actually. Yeah, that's it. We've got two guys on the waiting list, but we'll get you guys in as soon as we can. Bolts on the first on the waiting list, and then Philly franchise. Might as well get into that now too. I don't like to kick people from teams, but like the league's kind of growing to the point where people who don't play their games, because this is a play league, so people want to play their games. They don't want to play CPU games. They don't want to, that nobody wants to. I don't know. Nobody wants to play a CPU game. I don't think. For an easy win, like people would rather play than have an easy win and like the free 2 points on the standings, right?
Yeah.
So as we get more demand for this league, I think it's probably in the best interest for ourselves to start removing people who aren't playing their games. That first of all, I want to say that this doesn't mean like, hey, you have like a busy, whatever, like month or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to be super busy. Won't get a lot of games done. Not a big deal. Honestly, I think the biggest thing would be managing your team as long as you continue to manage them. But yeah, I don't. We're gonna have to get to the point where we start kicking guys, and so people who don't play. So to make room for these new guys who would play, would manage, and all that other stuff, like we know that already. So.
And the community kind of just it works with everybody, right? But there's a certain the baseline qualification really is activity. Like if you're around more often, as these guys, like I would expect them to be, then they really do offer more to the league.
Yeah.
Fundamentally.
Yeah.
And otherwise, it's just a very like baseline competence of knowing knowing what icing is, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise we wouldn't really be kicking. But as far as activity goes, I think that's definitely a good metric to use.
Which is honestly, it's a good problem to have. I was thinking, like, because when we started the league, it was like 6 guys. Like, it was just like, oh shit, let's get a GM connected league going like we did in the old days. And it was like 6 of us, and then CPU trades on. Like every week, you're just like hoping you have like you're playing an actual user, not just a bunch of CPUs. And then you just slowly were like kind of put it out there, and then people kind of started joining, and we grabbed a couple like separate leagues that we merged with, and all that other stuff. So it's good stuff, and it's a good problem to have, that you have more guys than you have spots for, and like all that stuff. So we're just gonna have to start accommodating to that, and so I would highly suggest that if you can't play your games and you're the GM, like get a player, or yeah, I would say get a player. That's kind of my only. The only thing about that is that people generally don't want to just be a player.
No, yeah, of course.
They
Because
want to manage.
if you
It's
have your own team, you want to kind of customize it.
yeah,
Um,
too.
so that's understandable for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So yeah, we probably will start kicking guys who are inactives, just so everyone knows. And
I
that's
mean,
kind of
it was only a few months ago that I remember, when a sim would happen, and then Rosario would have like 5 games in a sim, and he would expect like 4 of them to be CPU just by seeing the names, and you never want to see that.
yeah.
Um,
And
so that's definitely
there's one thing about like being that busy, but like if you are like if you just send me a message, let me know, that would be huge. Because and for like give me a time frame for how long you're going to be busy, like that's huge, because then I know, and then I don't start developing this perception that you just really don't do much.
And listen, nobody wants to, message you game, maybe tomorrow. All right,
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
around? No, no answer. How about now? Are you there? Like, nobody wants to like, bother you like that, especially if you have like 5 people doing that. But there is a certain amount of cooperation that needs to be there. And even if it could just take one message to message Brad or even message me to say that for the next 2 weeks you're not gonna be around.
Yeah,
And even there's a function in the league, turn on
yeah.
CPU. That works pretty well. So
But anyways, yeah, I think that's enough of that.
yeah, we'll move on.
Um, big news this week. We announced the Beaver Lodge Poker Tour, which is going to be super fun. I'm super excited.
Oh
This
boy.
last weekend, me and Meme King went down to the local casino. They got a $60 poker game, and there was like 130 people there, and it was so fun. Like 12 tables, 10 guys, 10 people at a table. I guess
Did
that's
you
way more
win?
than that's like 160. No, not at all. I lasted 2 hours though. It was fun. Honestly, like, it was crazy. I felt like I felt like I've never played poker before,
Did
because
you win?
every no, man, there's like over 150 people there. The
Oh.
grand prize is like north of like $5,000, or like it's around
Oh, okay. So
5,000.
it was that
It was
sort
a
of
it was
format.
like a poker tournament. Yeah, it was sweet.
Gotcha.
I went all in on the hand after the first break, and yeah, I lost. I had a decent hand, you know,
Oh well.
but yeah,
We've already seen some interest in it, I think, right?
yeah. So if you guys are interested in joining, you join the Discord. Everybody's available. Everybody's welcome to. You don't have to be in the league to join the poker tournament. And yeah, essentially, it's just going to be, it's like you're just going to host a home game online on PokerStars.net, and then you can join it, and then a tournament format, and there's going to be standings after. We'll have a couple here and there, and break up the season, stuff like that. Maybe we'll have a big one right in the All-Star break. Who knows? Who knows? But
Maybe.
yeah, off season. Oh god, that'll be poker season. That's when we'll start the season for poker. You can have you can start a season on it. It was pretty cool. I was fiddling around with it. You can have a season, so like every poker game, like if you have, as long as you have more than 4 people or 4 or more, it'll like the poker will count towards like the season statistics.
That's
And then
kind of
you
cool,
at the end of
actually.
it, yeah, it's I don't know how it works totally, and I don't really know anything about like a season of poker. Like, I don't know if they do it in real life or anything. I really don't know much about
Yeah,
poker at
I
all.
can't really add
Um,
anything either.
so, but it'll be cool. Something to explore. Maybe in the off season we can start a season of Poker Stars or whatever, the Beaver Lodge Poker Tour. But yeah, that's kind of that.
Cool wing to have in the league.
Yeah, something to do that's not, being the best NHL GM Connect league out there. Other than that, oh yeah, I got one more thing to mention here is the CPU situation. We had a little debacle today
Oh
about
boy,
somebody
you want to
playing
get
this.
into that?
Oh yeah, I just want to
Yeah,
explain the
cool.
rule. It's
Yeah,
it's
that's
not going
good.
to take me long, and I love when stuff like this comes up because it makes me realize what other people think. So like you write something and you think it's clear for you, but it might not be clear for somebody else. So I just think what happened was I didn't write the rule book clear enough, and it was just misinterpreted. But
Crazy.
for the record,
I didn't even think of that kind of misinterpretation.
oh yeah, no, it just takes somebody who thinks differently to think it that way. But I don't even know if we should get into it. It's not even that fun.
No, it's not. It's not very fun, but we can go through it quickly, I guess.
Well, it's just if you're gonna message somebody to play a game, if you like don't know when you're available the next day, like I often don't know. I'll say like, hey, I'll probably be free tomorrow night. That is considered giving your availability, but in the rules. Like that's what we consider giving. That counts to us.
The big idea behind it is to be cooperative with the guy that you're paired with. So if they message you, the idea is to answer within 36 hours and give them an idea of when to play, right? You don't just say yo, that isn't enough. But if you say maybe tomorrow, that gives them something to
Yeah,
work with, and that gives them a time the way I would think. But as long as you can help out whoever you're messaging, if you're making it so that I keep having to message you and get a time out of you, then that can be a little much. But if you just give me like something, and that's it, and then that's enough, and that's how the 36-hour rule works. But if no, but if the guy just doesn't say anything, then that's when you can play
yeah,
the CPU.
yeah,
That's how that
exactly.
works. Because you don't want to deal with people ghosting you.
Yeah, we are not in the business of being ghosts. But yeah, that's all about that. What else? You got anything else you want to talk
I
about?
mean, we can do like season projections or something like that, but that might be a little. I guess we could go through it quickly.
Why don't we just do? Why don't we just
Review
do
of
the teams
the.
that didn't make playoff or the teams that made playoffs this last season, and then say if they'll make playoffs or not?
Hmm. I mean, I'd like to at least like list some that I would think would like
Why don't
replace
let's do
them in the
divisions and
playoffs.
let's do one division.
Well, like one at a time. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then we'll say the next episode we'll do another one or two or three.
If you want, but
Or
I feel like we'd be doing like one this time and then like three the next time. No?
okay,
I don't know. I think we'll just go through them quickly,
all right,
right? No? All
okay.
right. I think we'll start with the Atlantic, I guess. I'm
The
just going through.
Atlantic. All right,
Yeah. Is
let's
that
start at
not
the
a good
bottom.
place to start?
Yeah, Boston right
Um,
now. Boston right now is 4-0-1. They're at the top of the Atlantic. Start with them.
they should be good, to be honest. They're a pretty consistent team, so they should be able to make it. I mean, we can just pile together who we think are gonna make it, and I think Boston, Montreal, Florida, and Buffalo are pretty safe to make it. But I think Toronto's gonna be falling out because he's gonna be rebuilding, right?
Yeah,
So you can count on him missing, and
Buffalo is probably gonna make it.
yeah, I was saying Buffalo, Florida, Montreal, Boston. I think those four are pretty safe picks in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And then Detroit and Ottawa. I'm not too sure. Who is Ottawa right now?
Um, not
Ottawa's a new
sure.
GM. That's David's brother.
Yeah,
So
Philip the Great.
I forgot about that. Welcome,
Oh,
Philip the Great.
yeah. Sorry. Well, man, we just absolutely snubbed the guy.
Absolutely.
I knew there was another one. See, I knew it.
Yeah, so did I. I was like, one? Really? I guess they're on the waiting list, but anyway, yeah, I don't know anything about him to be honest. Let me look at. I
I think
think
he's
he's
probably a
0 and
pretty
2.
decent.
He seems to
He's
be 0 and
he's 0
2,
and
but
2. Yeah.
he lost to Buffalo and he lost to Washington, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
He lost 1-0 to Washington, so we can assume he's around that level, which is about a bubble playoff team maybe.
Yeah. Um.
Uh, which I think Tampa would have like an edge over. So maybe Tampa makes it back in. But anyway, we'll move quickly to the Metro unless you want to add something.
No, that's a good speed, I think.
Yeah, because I think Detroit is still like a little behind Tampa, and then Ottawa would probably be around that range also with.
Every single season I'm first of all, I am a Detroit Red Wings fan, but I love the general manager in Detroit right now, Stevie Y.
I love him too. I just think
Yeah.
he's just a little bit like trailing behind right now.
Yeah, but
I'm hoping he can make a push though.
he's a guy that like actively tries to get better and like tries to improve his team and all that other stuff. I think just get one of these seasons he's I expect him to make the playoffs every year, and I don't think he has in the last year. But
It's been a while now, I think.
yeah, it's been a bit, but yeah, I got big hopes for Detroit. Rooting for you, buddy. Anyways, Metro, New Jersey.
Metro,
I don't know
yeah,
if
New
New Jersey
Jersey.
makes it.
Yeah, I mean, I like I don't know if I would put money on it because I don't put money on anything, but I think it's a safe bet if you wanted to bet on anybody, it might be New Jersey. Um,
Yeah,
otherwise, moving on because who cares?
he's got one loss
The
already this season, eh?
yeah, he does.
Oh, he
It's
went
kind of funny because
81-1 last season.
we can mention that his brother's in the league and they use the same console, so they couldn't actually play against each other. They had to play offline, and then whoever won the offline game
Got the win.
would take the win in the GM connected. And for some reason, our New Jersey genius general manager forgot that you you know if you're playing offline, one person has to play on the opposite direction. It switches by period, but he had the bad direction 2 periods, so that really hurt him.
Yeah,
And so you know what? He has an excuse.
yeah,
Take it for what it is, but that's his loss.
yeah.
Um, we'll see how his record develops over the season. Maybe he'll have competition at the top there. But
Columbus, or so I would say the New
the
Jersey's gonna make
Islanders.
it. Islanders are gonna make it. Um,
I think Columbus takes third, maybe second in the Metro.
Columbus. That's Sam.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that'll
based on
leave.
him beating
That leaves one
Rosario.
other team. One other team, and the rest of them that make playoffs in the East.
Right now I think it's Tampa, to be honest.
Tampa, really? I would say Washington.
Washington? Yeah, he
Maybe.
might be up there, to be honest. Oh, his record's not very good right now,
No,
no?
he had a bad start,
Yeah,
but
I think he's 1-4, right? What's Tampa? Tampa's 1-3. All right. I don't know, I guess, but we'll see how that develops because yeah, none of these teams are doing particularly well.
I would say that last wild card spot in the East is anyone's guess, really.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot could
Carolina's
happen
up
there.
there. Honestly, anybody in the yeah, there's a ton of teams that can get in there. Maybe Ottawa.
Yeah. All
But
right, should be.
yeah, we got 7 spots that we can be confident in, and then the last one we'll see, I suppose.
Yeah.
It could be
Moving over.
Toronto, but he's rebuilding. So
Yeah, Toronto. Come
you
on,
want to
man.
start? Yeah, really.
You know what? Actually,
Landeskog
let's
supposed
go
to be
into it
first.
quick. Let's go into it quick here.
Rebuilding?
Why does rebuilding not work? Give me a 1 minute spiel.
Um, I mean, rebuilding works in a sense. I just hated the Landeskog trade, to be honest. I prefer retooling. I think you always want to be competitive every season. But I understand the idea of going for a draft pick, but I don't think the reward is there. I think you're wasting 3 months of your life to get an okay draft pick. Um, those 4.5 yellows don't always pan out anyway.
Yeah.
And if you're trading away your assets that are like viable right now, especially the ones that are going to be viable in the future too, like a certain Gabriel Landeskog, I just don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I think you're better off just because it's one thing if Landeskog is turning into like a bunch of assets that like eventually eclipse Landeskog in value, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen because Landeskog's already 89-24, so.
He's
Um,
24 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know. I
I
think you can rebuild. You can absolutely rebuild, but especially year two or technically year three. Um, the draft isn't as good, so I don't think it's worthwhile. I
yeah,
think he is making a mistake, especially with Parise on his team.
I will I will say that I'm not a fan of rebuilding, and I think it's kind of shitty for the league, honestly. Like as long as you got
Yeah,
somebody to play your games, like
play
if
my
we move
CPU. Like,
if we move to the point where like people who like never ever play their games will get removed, like I would never want to remove a guy like Showtime because he's a
absolutely.
fucking character. So I would hope he plays his games, and we love your when you play games because it adds so much value to the community. So
And I mean, Plumlee's playing his games, right?
yeah,
And he's in a strict rebuild, so
yeah, no, that's good.
excuse me.
I don't really think they work honestly in this game. Like I just I just don't think they do.
Uh,
Um,
I mean, it's
they
definitely
it,
it's
it,
working out for Anaheim. It works eventually, but I
yeah,
don't think it's later in the years that they don't work as well because there's just not as many great draft
I'm not
picks.
gonna say you can't rebuild. I just oh the other thing I want to start criticizing guys more on this podcast. I
Oh
want
yeah.
to. Yeah, I think so. I think we're at the point where we all know we're all like buds and nobody means anything personal.
The
And I think it'd
roast of
be
Felix Tycho. Welcome to the roast of Felix Tycho.
no, it's just I think people would like to hear the criticism come out. Constructive criticism, obviously, but and you just know that I don't mean anything personal by any of it. I think you're running your organization like shit, and I'm going to tell you. No, I'm just joking.
You criticize the ideas, not the person.
Yeah,
You can't take it as a personal attack. You gotta dig deep,
and nobody is.
evaluate what you're
I'm just
doing,
I'm just saying this, and I'm not even going to be
realize
that
you're an
critical.
idiot.
I'm not even going to be that critical on this podcast. It's just on future podcasts. I just want to open the door to people just expressing their views, giving hot takes, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I like it. I think it'd be good. I think it'd be entertaining, and yeah. So I'm just gonna say that now, and then when you hear it later in the season, you know why.
I
All
think some
right.
of our other guests will be happy to oblige, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea. Do
So
you want to start with Pacific or Central?
uh,
And then
set. We'll
we'll
start with
wrap it up quick.
Pacific, I guess.
Okie dokie. I think
That's a tight division
Do you think Arizona's a favorite now?
to win. Well, he's 2-1.
The
I
division
don't know.
and standings.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say I
Yeah.
put my money on Arizona. He squeaked into the playoffs last season, went on a trip to the finals, lost to
He's
Cyber.
2-1. He lost a game to Cyber this season.
Yeah, I know. I
It's
know.
excusable. So.
Yeah, I know. So I think Arizona's definitely in. Man,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't even
he's
I
in for sure. I think it's kind of tough on Anaheim. I feel bad for Anaheim because
man,
Arizona,
he's
San
good.
Jose, Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary. That's five. You can't have six from the same division.
No, I know.
So oops. um that
Man,
kind of means that the other guys need to look out because Anaheim is going to be pushing.
yeah, for
But
sure. Like that's why
I
I'm saying. Like I was that he's gonna be the guy who takes me out.
excuse me.
Like that's what's gonna happen. I can feel it now. Like I'm gonna hit this terrible losing streak in the middle of the season here somewhere, and just yeah,
I do think he might be the more vulnerable one out of that group.
yeah.
As far as the regular season goes, you have more of a tendency to lose to the teams that the others don't lose to as often.
Honestly, though, the thing about that is, I know that coming into the season, like I'm gonna be dialed in for every game.
Um,
So
yeah,
I think I can play a lot better this season. So I beat Twa in the playoffs. So maybe he
we'll,
should take my spot and
we'll be
Anaheim.
watching you closely.
Yeah. But yeah. So then you think if you think 5 from the Pacific, you think only 2 from or 3 from the Central.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
Because
who do
I think Dallas and St. Louis are all like locks for sure.
okay. So then we got one other team. Who is it?
Do we comment on Minnesota at all, or that that could be one that ends up squeaking in because we don't know, right?
Yeah, that's true. Right,
It
because
could be a
Minnesota could
different
be one of the
Minnesota.
teams that gets a new GM here soon.
Yeah. So
So
that we're not sure on, but I think right now Winnipeg would be the favorite, but
is that Fabio?
Winnipeg's GM is fairly busy these days.
Yeah.
So he might you know, he might not be able to make it in there while, Abe is more dedicated, definitely going to play all of his games.
Yeah.
That might edge him
I
out
don't know. What
over
about Reaper though?
Winnipeg.
Reaper's 0-4. How the frick
Reaper
did
is
that happen?
0-4. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Reaper. I don't understand it. The guy gives me a run for my money and then loses 8-0 to me. I, I don't know what has happened in so few months.
Oh,
He lost to Pittsburgh. That's interesting. Um, he lost to St. Louis in Florida. That's excusable. And losing to Chicago, you don't want to see that. That's definitely a guy he's competing with. But losing to Pittsburgh, you got to question like what? What's going on? Um,
yeah.
Nashville's got to take that win. So, uh, yeah, I don't know how to feel about Reaper these days.
I don't know.
But I hope he can make a push.
I think Nashville takes that third spot.
He's capable for sure. But he let me down last season, so I'm not gonna put my faith in him. I want to put my faith in Fabio. He's a very nice boy.
I'd say Felix has a chance too though.
Uh, eesh. Felix
Yeah,
started 5-2 last season, 3-2 right now. But
yeah, but
just he lost. Okay, let me see who he's played in Beaver.
he
He didn't beat.
he is he's like the guys who I wonder about is the guys who are actively like learning and like are invested in trying to get better and stuff, and he's definitely one of them. He's got to be at the top of
Sure,
that
yeah,
actually. So
sure.
like,
But I think it takes more time though, and I think he's still.
yeah,
I
maybe. Yeah,
I
it
I
takes a
think
while.
at the end of the day, I think it comes down to Fabio's activity. Because Fabio is definitely better than the rest of that division. It's like
You
St.
think he's better
Louis,
than
and
St.
then
Louis
no,
and
St. Louis,
Dallas?
St. Louis is better, and then I think Dallas is close to him. I think Fabio could beat Dallas
Yeah.
in a playoff series. Oh my
Well,
God! But
hopefully he does. Hope he finds the time. If not, it's all good. But
exactly, I'd love to see him. I can see him compete. But I think, third is better than fourth by
yeah,
like a lot if he is playing. But if he's not, then it can definitely become
for sure.
competitive
Yeah.
for sure. So we'll see how
Um.
that kind of turns out.
But yeah, I guess that would be our playoff projections.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
I
don't
don't-
really know what the hell's happening with the second wild card in the East, but that's a good thing. So all of them better be competing because any of them can get that spot.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I think that's all I gotta say. It's gonna be a good season. Fuck, I'm yawning. Um.
Better than my coughing.
Yeah. It's gonna be a great season.
So
Honestly though, like,
excited.
see that's don't mean to come back to it, but like if I look at the Pacific, how tight it is, like knowing how tight it is, like how competitive every game is, and like how much everything matters, like that's what I want for every division.
Yeah,
Like
you're definitely
ideally,
looking behind you. Absolutely.
yeah.
Even
So
like you also want the seeding for sure.
the what?
The seeding to control your matchups. Because you don't want to play Barks round one, do you?
No.
So you definitely want to place well in the Pacific Division.
Yeah, exactly. But that's kind of why I think we should move to that more of a competitive mindset, the way we run things,
Mhm.
and that kind of stuff. So
And yeah, keep in mind again, the idea of replacing certain GMs is definitely there. And if that happens, that would definitely mix up the projections.
yeah,
There are a couple in particular that would be in mind. So we'll
yeah,
see.
for sure.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, should we wrap it up here?
Yeah, I think that's That's about all that we needed to cover.
That's a good hour.
We had an hour? Damn.
Yeah, well, somewhere around there probably. I'm gonna hit stop recording here in a sec, but we'll see then. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. It's a bit of a different episode, a little bit different feel, more of like a news broadcast for things that happen in the league. If you're not in the league and you weren't interested in it, I promise you, our other podcasts are more of us just shooting the shit and talking about poise.
Yeah,
Nice,
oh my
I
God.
squeaked it in. Poise.
Went
But yeah.
so out of your way. Holy crap.
Yeah. Well, actually, I noticed it was coming up there, and
Oh yeah.
yeah. But
It finally surfaced.
yeah. Thanks for
Whoa.
tuning in. There should be another episode soon. Got any last words?
No, I think I'll leave it there. I'm excited for the roast of Felix Tycho.
Yes. Sponsored by Ferda Hockey Apparel.